when you ask God for, like, make me a champion, He can just give you challenges. So the impact of the accident was so huge. My helmet broke.
You had a helmet.
Yes, I had. If I didn't had the helmet on, I would have not been here right now talking to you. Like, you don't remember the lesson if there is no pain
बिल्कुल,
in
अगर
it.
पेन नहीं होता तो you just forget it. Third stage cancer, then COVID, and then that ICU वाला episode happened. So 3 times I actually saw that.
The quality of your life is determined by quality of your problems. Try to create problems that push you out of your comfort zone.
So well said, so well said. Huh?
The epic your failure, the epic is your story. Like, there cannot be a epic story without an epic failure. So we have Dr. Tazyn here, and it's Women's Day week, and we are going to be hosting inspiring stories on the podcast, and I'm very humbled to have her. And she is MD of IARA and an NLP practitioner. She's been into education for like 16 years of her life, right? She's also like PhD in commerce and MBA. I don't know like how she has done so much in such like short span of time, but it's really really honor to have you. And this episode is gonna inspire you to the core. And she has survived death for 3 times, not just once, 3 times. So yeah, that's Dr. Tyson for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Neeraj, so much. It really means a lot to me to be here with you today. Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so बड़ा interesting सा सफर रहा है आपका. So let's start with like um with your journey. Like, how was your childhood? Like, I want to know, like, where did you got brought up, and how did it start?
My childhood was very, very secured. My dad was working with a refinery. At that time, it was called BRPL, that is Bongaigaon Refinery and Petrochemicals Limited. Now it
Hmm.
has been taken up by IOCL. It is IOCL BGR now. So we had this beautiful township culture.
Nice.
I was born and brought up there. And we had a Kendra Vidyalay KV product. I proudly say that I'm a KV product. So it was beautiful because it was like growing up with the same set of people and staying along with the same set of people. It was a secured campus kind of a life that we had, and we had
Nice.
all the facilities way back. I mean, I did my 12th in 1996. So you can
Oh.
well imagine when I was a kid how long it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had a beautiful lawn tennis court. We had table tennis. We had badminton, indoor badminton, everything, all proper facilities. And our
Hmm.
school was just 5 minutes walking distance from where we used to stay. It was a wonderful, wonderful environment where we grew up with all
Hmm.
the didis and bhaiyas along who used to take care of us like their own
Nice.
brothers and sisters. Why I'm becoming so nostalgic, because this year in January 5th, we had a school reunion. It was
Oh.
a reunion of of all the batches. We were around 150 students who revisited our schools and the campus. And the best part was our batch was the youngest batch. 1996 batch was the youngest batch to
अरे
join
बाप रे.
the reunion. And I could feel as a kid with all the dizzy
Nice.
bhaiyas around, they treated us like a kid. So we had a beautiful, beautiful. I really had a beautiful childhood, very secured and very, with all the facilities that anyone could imagine of.
So, why I ask this question is that I get that feeling from you, like a very secure, positive vibe, right? Uh, and going through that bubble in life, and then I know like there was a phase in your life where you might be got up with a news key, you have cancer. So like I want to understand, like a person who was like a very secure person, ज़्यादा like वो था ना mentally इतनी disturbances नहीं थी, like good people around you, good energy around you, like
Right.
minded. But उस बंदे के लिए कितना difficult होगा to like completely realize कि अच्छा I have suddenly got into this phase of my life. Like, how do you deal with it? So like I want to understand key, like the first time you got the news about it, what was your reaction, and how did you like process it?
Yeah. So what exactly happened was I felt a lump, right? I had third stage breast cancer. So I just felt a lump, and then obviously we didn't wait. We immediately went to the gynae and got checked up. And then
Mm-hmm.
while going through the test, initial test was the ultrasound. So while
Mm-hmm.
going through the ultrasound, my I mean, she's a doctor. I mean, we keep on
Yeah,
having
yeah, yeah.
regular checkups. So I knew her very well. So I just asked her, is it okay? She told me that you better don't wait and get further investigations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then
Mm-hmm.
then there were n number of tests which were going on, and every
Mm-hmm.
test was suggestive of cancer, but
Oh,
none of the tests were confirming cancer.
got
It
it.
was the
Got it.
mammography test which actually a little bit of confirmed that it is cancer, but
Mm-hmm.
the final report was of biopsy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got the report, I and my son, he was 17 at that time, we both of us got a little disturbed and we cried. My husband was like, please wait for the biopsy report. Please wait for the biopsy report. Why are you
Mm-hmm.
concluding that you have cancer? And finally, when the biopsy report came, somehow I was a little mentally prepared. But that shook my husband. My husband was shattered at that time. Because when
Okay.
we went to there are two doctors who were involved in the cancer treatment, one who does the surgery and one is the medical oncology. So initially, we went to the the surgeon one, oncology surgeon part, who was specialized in breast cancer. Her name is Dr. Geeta. We went to her, and she told me that you look quite calm and composed. What has happened to him? Referring to my husband.
Got
Actually,
it.
my husband has lost his mother to pancreatic cancer in 2014. So I
Got
told
it.
her that maybe, he has already lost his
Yeah.
mother, so
Yeah.
maybe he is a little shaken. But yeah, even after that, to be very honest, the first week was tough. First week was
Mm-hmm.
tough because I was not able to process it and I was not
Mm-hmm.
ready to
Mm-hmm.
accept that
Mm-hmm.
fact I have cancer, and that to third stage cancer. Right?
Got it.
The doctor had already told us that it is quite complicated and chances of survival was less, because nowadays doctors are very, very open. They talk
Transparent. Yeah.
pros and cons, absolutely. I mean, they tell you the truth, right? They don't
Yeah.
keep you
Yeah.
in dark. They tell you the
Yeah.
truth,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think I have been blessed that universe had already prepared me to handle this. I had got myself trained in NLP in 2019, and I was
Okay.
diagnosed with this cancer in March 2021. So
Got it.
2 years I was myself practicing NLP techniques. NLP is something called as neuro linguistic programming, which helps
Hmm.
you how to train your neurons to lead the life that you want, right? So
Okay.
this is the basic concept. So I was training people on that. So after a week, I sat down and I told myself that I know how to train my neurons. So what is it that I am afraid of? So I again started practicing these NLP techniques very religiously. Then I incorporated yoga, then I incorporated pranayams into my regular life. And obviously, I changed my lifestyle as well as what I was intaking. A lot of raw foods I initially had before my
Mm-hmm.
chemotherapy started. After chemotherapies, you are not supposed to have raw foods, but before that, I took care of my diet also, and that actually helped me to battle through this journey with a very,
Got.
very positive mindset. That is something I realized. Everything is up here. Everything is
Hmm.
up here.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
you are strong from here, if you keep your mind strong, then everything is actually a cakewalk.
Nice. I think it's your attitude that has helped you immensely in terms of getting back on track in life, right? Because a lot of people don't have that attitude. It's like they just need one push to be shattered, right? And I think that's beautiful about you is that you have that essence of fighting inside your head. If I don't give up, I don't think anyone can defeat me, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
um I just want to confirm one thing. So, for a people who wouldn't know about this, is that biopsy is one of the major tests. I think that confirms the cancer. There is a tissue taken, and then
Right,
the confirmation comes that it is a cancer cell or not.
right.
Like, and if just adding to the context here, the tissue is taken from the infected area, and like that is why it's like 100% of confirmation whether it's cancer or not. Like, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Right, absolutely right, absolutely right. It's a
Yeah,
basically I mean, they do. It's a small cut they
yeah,
do
incision.
at the tumor. Basically, from the tumor, they take a piece and then they test it to find
Test
out
it out.
whether it's cancerous or not. Basically,
Yeah.
and that's
So
the
basic
confirmation test. Yes,
exactly. So now I want to take you back to like step 1, step 2, step 3, because I want this episode to be like helping that person who might be going through this journey, or somebody who feels like giving up ki ye ek health issue ho gaya hai, to maybe this is limiting me in life. It can be anything apart from cancer as well. So you being a cancer survivor, you have gone through the shoes of a person who has like uh, been diagnosed with it, and then went through chemo, and then you went through a phase where things started recovering, right? And then you eventually exit out of it. So take me like a step one, like initially 1 week you recognized ki ha, you got this cancer, right? And then what was the major shift that happened in your life? I know mentally it takes a time to process, that you mentioned for one week, but I want to understand like what are the major changes, like how people started perceiving you, how like you started perceiving yourself, because there is a lot of like hair loss hota hai, you look different in mirror, right? So I want to go back to those small details, maybe that will help someone get a lot of confidence from you.
First of all, I'd like to tell you, I mean, how people play their roles, right? See,
Mhm.
when you are diagnosed with something, I don't know about other countries, especially in India, everybody has an advice for you.
Oh,
Everybody will, I could understand they were my well wishers, but
true.
when you hear so much, that it starts impacting you. Like people
Hmm.
used to tell me that after chemo this is gonna happen, that is gonna happen, you'll be so weak, you won't be able to get up from the bed, maybe you would need a nurse who would help you to take you to the washroom. So believe me, Neeraj, after the first chemo I did feel a little bit of weakness, because I had had so much, right? I was like, is something happening? Am I feeling nausea? There were so many things that was going on in my mind. And then, as I told you, I started practicing this NLP techniques and pranayams and yogas and diet and everything. It contributed, like it made me stronger. So
Yes.
after that, I was like, I was that determined that I'm not going to let chemotherapy hamper my physical fitness or my
Hmm.
mental balance, right? So after the second chemotherapy, I was taking sessions, I was doing everything. So yeah, that was something which shifted. I mean, it was just a mind shift that I made, and actually I
Mhm.
saw the results. I couldn't feel any nausea, because medical science has progressed a lot. They give
Yes.
you medication to combat all the
Hmm.
side effects, right? So and then I started eating things which I feel like amla
Mhm.
was something which I found very soothing. Dried amla was something I found very soothing. I took those things which helped me to overcome all these things. And talking about hair loss, yeah, initially even I was a little apprehensive how I am going to handle the hair loss. But one thing I was very, very clear of was I'm not going to put on a wig. I was very, very clear on that, because in our cancer support groups they give you all the supports. They
Yeah,
tell you that these are the places from where you can get the best of the wigs. I had all the information, but
got it.
I was very clear that I'm not going to put on the wig.
Got it.
I had one of my sister-in-law. She is a, I mean, fashion icon kind of a person. She
Mhm.
used to put a lot of headgears. So I had requested her to prepare a video for me, so that with different styles of headgears. I was like,
Mhm.
if I cannot carry the ball look, at the most, what I'm going to do is I'll put some scarf in a different type of a headgear kind of a thing,
Got
stylish
it.
kind
Got
of
it.
a thing. I
Got it.
was very sure that I'm going to take it as a style statement. I did buy few scarves also, and then what I did was I had shoulder length hair, this long hair,
Got it.
and
Got it.
I had got keratin and all those treatment done also. I had lovely hairs. I used to flaunt my hair. So I knew that side effect of chemotherapy would be I losing my hair. The first thing I did was I went and got my hairs cut real short. And to again combat that feeling of getting my hairs cut real short, I got a hair tattoo done. Stylish hair tattoo done, so that I have something to look forward.
Okay.
After the first chemotherapy, even those small hairs also started falling.
Got
So
it.
I again went to the same parlor. Same parlor, I again went to the same salon. It was Tony and Guy. For getting bald, I could have gone to any other salon, right? Or any other
Yeah, yeah,
nearby
yeah.
parlor also. But I was like, I needed that ambience. I again went to Tony and Guy, and again I got bald. Now,
Got
what
it.
do I do with my bald head? I was like, I looked in the mirror. I was like, okay, fine. I'm able to carry myself. I'll be able to carry myself like
Mhm.
that. I didn't
Mhm.
opt for any headgear. Then one
Got
thing
it.
I did was in the bald head, I got a henna tattoo done. So again,
Oh.
that was again a style statement which I carried. And the one thing that I felt was Once you are confident, once you are confident in carrying the ball look, people around you actually feel that you are carrying a style statement. They don't
Got it.
pity you, they don't give sympathy to you, though they don't even realize that you are going through certain pain. I'll just
Got it.
share a small incident. What happened was, one of the colleges has invited me to judge one of the event. I
Mhm,
had a
mhm.
girl next to me. She was also a, she was also my co-judge, and she was a very very young girl. While we were just talking, and she started telling me, I have so many health issues. I have PCOD, I have thyroid, and because of this, I have that. She was cribbing, 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 and cribbing. I just heard her. I just let her speak whatever she was telling me.
Mhm.
After she completed, I just told her, I'm battling third stage cancer. And she was like zapped. He was like, what? I told her that you saw my bald head. Nothing clicked, that you didn't even realize that I might be going through some health issue because of which I am bald. She was like, not at all. I just saw you and I thought that you are carrying this as a style statement. That was a big thing for me, because that made me realize that if you are confident in carrying yourself, so
Mm.
people around you don't even realize that you are going through any issue.
Got it. I think the important point here is key. A lot of time, what happens is that we take an image of ourselves, right, and we stick it in our head. Like for example, if I am battling a disease, I'm diabetic, I'm diabetic, I'm diabetic. If I keep on repeating that, I'm telling my body, my mind, my soul, like, ki I am diabetic. I'm reaffirming it. If I like want to get out of it, I need to portray myself as a healthy person. Like I'm a healthy person. Whatever the thing is going on in background can always shift, right? I need to look on things that I want in my life, right? Rather than things that take up the energy from my life. So think a lot of people. So this is a hack, like if you are at a current state and then you're trying to go to a dream state, you need to act like the dream person. So for example, in your case, you need to act like a healthy person जिसको कुछ हुआ ही नहीं है, right?
Absolutely.
And that
Absolutely.
that that I think is the magical key that you use, right? Because अगर वो तुम दूसरों पे पर्सोनिफाई कर पा रहे हो तो ऑब्वियसली योर ओन बॉडी रियलाइजेस कि ओके ठीक है यार, लाइक we can manage this, like we can get over this, right? And I think that is a mental block that a lot of people going through like difficult diseases need to understand. Like I had gone through a broken neck, right? But just like you, I am like a positive spirit, like a fighting spirit. So मेरे आजू बाजू वाले लोग परेशान है, अरे जवान बेटे का गला टूट गया. My sister is like, okay, he's not able to walk, like he can't do anything on his own. मैं literally हिल भी नहीं पा रहा था. Like I cannot move. I became like a baby to learn everything again, but I was never negative about it. Like I told my doctor, ki, whenever I get up, I want to go to gym, I want to like become the best of myself. So by default मेरा healing तो उसमें include हो गया. Like
Huh.
my goal was not to heal. My
Exactly.
goal was to achieve the maximum I can achieve in my life
Right.
physically, right?
Right.
Because that was impossible for my mind to understand that at that point of time. मैंने बोला ठीक है ना यार, ठीक तो सब हो जाते हैं, उसमें क्या मजा है? ऐसे
Huh.
ठीक होते हैं कि लोग नोटिस भी करें कि बंदा ठीक हुआ है.
Huh.
सो या आई डेफिनेटली रिलेट विद इट. अच्छा, मुझे एक चीज़ बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग सी पूछनी है कि anybody who's going through cancer, right? It might differ with the type of cancer, but like, what is the treatment in terms of like, firstly, how long was your journey? Second, like, how many chemo sessions you went through? Okay. And I'm asking this because I have no idea about it.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't have any idea about it, and I want you to answer it if you're comfortable, because uh, what will happen is, looking at your tenure ki acha theek hai, Dr. Tyson did it in this time, and with this much of chemotherapy, maybe it might motivate someone ki acha theek hai, a person like me going through the same thing did it in this time, so why not me? So yeah, you can answer
Yeah,
that.
my entire cancer journey was more than 1.5 years total treatment period.
Got
So
it.
initially, we started with chemos, and then the plan of action was initial chemo, then surgery, then radiation. That was the initial plan. But what
Mhm.
happened was, after three chemos, my liver parameters were abnormal, very very
Okay.
abnormal.
Okay.
They had to stop my chemotherapy in between. But in the after three chemos, the tumor size has decreased. So what they decided was to give me a break from the chemo. They proceeded with the surgery. So
Got it.
they changed
Got it.
the plan. So after three chemos, there was surgery, and after I recovered from the surgery, again chemo started. So total, there were more than 21 chemos, normal
Oh,
chemos.
got it.
There were two types of chemos that was administered on me. One was the normal chemos, which affected every cell of your body. So
Got it.
what basically chemo does is it kills all the growing cells. That is why your hair starts falling, your nails go dead, your eyebrows, all the hairs, right? I didn't have
Mhm.
eyebrows, I
Got it.
didn't have any
Got
hair
it.
on any part of my body. And that was a boon in disguise. For 1.5 years, I didn't have to go for waxing. So that was a good
Same.
part of that. After the normal chemos, then I underwent another 21 rounds of radiations. So
Got it.
radiation was given. After that, there was something called as targeted chemotherapy. So it was
Okay.
just directed to the hormone actually which caused this cancer.
Issues.
So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
targeted chemotherapy. Again, there were around 17 cycles of those chemos, but those
Mhm.
chemos were the mildest one. They didn't have any effect on any other part of
Got
the
it.
body. It was just
Got it.
targeted to that part. So that was the entire course of treatment. Yeah, chemos generally, people gets around they get around 5 to 10 chemos. My case, it was 21 normal chemos and then 17 targeted chemos, then 21 sessions of radiation, and then one major surgery. Yeah, that was my
Okay.
treatment.
That was a lot. So like I want to understand like what is the difference between a chemo and a thing? Like
Chemo is something which is administered. It's a liquid. If you have seen anyone taking saline, or
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
something
Got it.
like that.
Yeah, yeah.
There are two ways through which they give the chemo. One is like there is something called as pickup line. They put it here or here, through here.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
that is
Okay.
every day you remove
Okay.
it and then you put
Yeah.
it.
Put
And
it.
then there
Got
is
it.
something called as chemo port. Chemo port is a surgery. They insert it. If you see, there would be a cut out here. Yeah, you'll see a
Got
cut
it.
here. If you can see
Okay.
here. So that was chemo port was inserted here. In that case, what happens? It's a rubber-like thing which is inside your body, and then they put the needle in that rubber-like part. So
Got it.
every
Got it.
time you don't get too much. You don't hurt yourself too much while they put on the chemo. It's
Got it.
liquid
Got
kind
it.
of a thing. They put it here, and one
Haha.
chemo goes somewhere around 3-4 hours. It's a
Okay.
daycare thing. You don't have to get admitted to the hospital.
Okay.
You don't have
Okay.
to stay overnight. It's a
Got it.
daycare procedure. So, but it
Mhm.
takes somewhere around 3 to 4 hours to 5 hours at the most. It depends on the kind of chemo that is given. Then radiation is a ray that is given to you that
Okay.
kills the growing cells around all the cancer cells. It kills, or it's a chemotherapy kills some
Mhm.
cells, but to ensure that all the growing cells are dead, particular to that area. Where
Mhm.
your cancer is, particular to that area, that radiation is given. It's kind of you don't feel anything. You don't feel anything while the rays are going in. You just lie down, and it radiation is around 10 minutes procedure, 10 to 15 minutes sitting. That's it. And in the entire treatment, radiation is the easiest part. It's the
Okay.
easiest part.
Okay.
Few people do complain of itching, and that area gets a
Mhm.
little burnt. The color changes, the skin color changes, but they do give you lotions to apply so that you don't feel that itching
Got it.
or you don't
Got it.
feel that irritation. That's radiation.
So is there like there should be any gap between this chemo session and radiation session, or is it done on the same day? Like how
No, no,
is
no, no.
this?
It is like after chemos are completed, then the treatment of radiation starts. They don't go together. They don't do it
Okay.
together. They don't do it
Okay.
together.
Okay. And the chemo has to be done earlier to radiation, and radiation will be the targeted thing to like
No, 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 no,
particular.
no. It depends from patient to patient, cancer
Okay.
to cancer. In
Got it.
some cancers, they don't even give chemotherapies. They give only radiation and it is cured. So it
Oh.
depends from cancer to cancer. Again, in the same type of cancer, like in breast cancer, I have met many people who had different line of treatment. So
Got
it
it.
dep-
Got it.
it is case specific, absolutely case
Got it.
specific.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So this went on. So like, I want to ask you now, like, what were the like uh, food changes that you incorporated that
Food
helped
changes.
you?
Yeah, food changes. I had absolutely healthy food, and I
Okay.
was blessed that my husband loves cooking, and he is an awesome cook. I am a
Nice.
person who hates going to the kitchen. He is a person who loves going to the kitchen.
Wow.
So initially he took a lot of care to give me all healthy food. Like he used to make beetroot halwa, he used to make almond halwa, and used to serve me in a shape of, like, he would to make a beetroot halwa, so it would be in a shape of heart. He would be
Hmm.
making vegetable cutlet, that would also be in shape of a heart, with
Nice.
a rose or rose petals. Every morning I used to look forward to my breakfast. So yeah, I
Nice. Yeah.
incorporated a lot of healthy eating. Initially, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I took a lot of raw food, raw vegetables, raw
Hmm.
sprouts
Hmm.
and all those. But
Hmm.
after chemo, you are not supposed to have anything raw because your immunity goes down. So
Okay.
there is a chances that if you have raw food, there are
Disease.
chances of infection. So
Got it.
even if you're having an apple, it would be steamed. It would be a steamed apple. So yeah, but
Hmm.
diet does plays a major role. I mean, what are the things that you eat?
So basically, let me summarize this. There are a lot of points to pick up for someone like कि जिसको इससे help हो जाए. So first thing is कि chemo के बाद में you cannot eat anything like just out of the packet because a lot of bacteria are there in everything and you need to have it steamed or like processed in some way to
Raw. You
cleanse it.
cannot have raw food. Yeah.
You cannot have raw food. And the thing that you mentioned, I had it like when I was getting painkillers. Like I also had like that thing on my hand, like the clip on it has, so that
Right.
the needle is always there. It's just
Huh.
that maybe they change it after a week. So for me, they used to change it like after a week because after a week it becomes like too inserted in your body na, to thoda pain karne lagta hai. And they remove it and then put a new one. So instead of like to give a context to your viewer, it's like जैसे injection होता है. Like I can't show. I maybe I'll have the editor show the images. It's like it just plugs in, like the wire or saline or any chemo. It just plugs in. So yeah, I think that is better instead
Huh.
of
And but
every time
chemo port
poking.
is there throughout your treatment, and there is
Okay.
another story attached to the chemo port. I mean, because of the chemo port, I had to be in an ICU. I really had a near death experience because of the chemo port.
Oh my god, like what exactly happened here?
Actually, what happens is chemoport is inserted, it becomes a part of your body, right?
Got it.
And after your treatment, generally they remove it, but they do have a duration, like
Okay. Okay.
unless and
Shelf
until
life.
you get the PET scan report which declares that you are cancer free. They generally
Hmm.
keep that chemoport
Okay.
inserted, right?
Okay.
So my treatment got over somewhere around in the month of June or July, but the chemoport was there. Chemoport was there, and uh, I was almost declared cancer free, but they had not removed the chemoport. So
Okay.
since the chemoport was inside me for more than 1.5 years, so what happened was it developed some infection. It is something
Got it.
called septicemia,
Yeah. Yeah.
septicitis,
Yes.
which
Yes.
we
Yeah.
generally
Yeah.
call
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I clearly remember the day because it was just one day before my birthday. My birthday is on 8th of November, and this happened on 7th of November. I
Got
started
it.
having a lot of fever. I mean, it was 104, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that was something I was having on and off. Whenever I used to have fever, it used to be 103 or 104 degree. But we thought that my immune system is weak, because of
Down.
that maybe
Yeah.
I'm getting frequent fevers. We never took that very seriously. Just to take
Got
dose
it.
or paracetamol, and
Ha
then
ha ha.
we used to
It
subside.
used to subside. Yeah.
Yeah. But on this 7th November, that particular night I'm talking about, 2022, 7th
Mm-hmm.
November.
Hmm.
So that night, the fever was 104, but I was feeling very weak. I was not even able to go to the washroom on my own. My husband
Got
was
it.
supporting me
Got
to
it.
go to the washroom. Somewhere around 10 p.m., I just randomly told that please check my BP. I'm somehow
Mhm.
feeling that something is not right, because
Correct,
this
correct.
weakness I have never felt, this kind of
Got it,
weakness.
got it.
So we had that digital BP machine to check my BP. My BP machine was not even reading my BP. It was reading my husband's. My dad was also with us. It was reading my dad's BP, but it was not reading mine. So I told my elder son that, I have a neighbor. Kindly go and bring her BP machine. She had high BP. I knew on her BP machine, my the normal BP is 120 by 80. That's the
Hmm.
normal
Normal
BP,
range.
normal
Yeah.
range, 120 by 80. My upper was 44, and it was not reading the lower one. So my husband got a little tensed. He called up my doctor, who resides in the same
Hmm.
society
Hmm. Hmm.
where we live in. Doctor told him that immediately take her to the hospital. So somewhere around 10:15, 10:20, I was on my way to the hospital. And on
Hmm.
the way, I called my doctor that, this is what happened. I myself talked to her, spoke to her that, something is happening. The BP is not normal. This is why, and I am on my way to the emergency. She told me it is septicemia. Your chemo port has to go out. Okay, so I went to the emergency, and I was kept in the emergency overnight. In the morning, early morning, she came. The doctor, she was like,
Hmm.
I was checking on you throughout the night. You were a little stable. So she came early in the morning, somewhere around 8 a.m.,
Hmm.
got my chemo port removed, and immediately I was shifted to the ICU. And
Got
it
it.
was my birthday, and I
Arey
cut
bapre.
my cake, and my doctors and her team, they were also very positive. She's like, it's your birthday, we are gonna celebrate your birthday. I
Yeah.
celebrated my birthday there.
Eh,
I cut
eh,
my cake, and I was talking, I was normal. I was like, why have you kept me in the ICU? An ICU scenario, Neeraj, it's the worst place to be in. I mean, you know all ailing people around, all to be to be saying it literally, all dying people around, right? So I was like, I am talking, I'm in my senses, why have you kept me in the ICU? Then my doctor, she told me that, the medicine that we are giving you, we generally give 1 mg, and it shoots up the BP like anything. We are giving you 27 mg of that particular medicine, and still, if they used to decrease it by a single mg, like 27 they were
Got it.
giving me, if they used to decrease it to 26, my BP again used to immediately shoot down.
Crash
So
down.
she
Yeah.
was like, that is the intensity. And believe me that if you have slept on seventh night, if you had slept, you would not have gotten up on eighth. You know, you would
Hmm.
not have been alive today. I I crack a joke to my husband that, you had to remember just one date, the day she was born and the day she was left, 8th of November. So that's the joke. And later on, I met my cousin brother, and I was just sharing
Hmm.
with him that this was
Hmm.
the mg of medicine that was given to me. And he was astonished, and he was like, what kind of risk you were with that kind of medicine? There was a high risk of cardiac arrest. So after that, I understood that, okay, why all the monitoring machines were attached to me, and why everybody was looking into the monitoring machines
Hmm. Hmm.
continuously, and nobody was
Hmm.
letting me sleep also. So okay, after that I got the intensity, but while I was going through that journey, I was like, I am all okay,
Yeah.
why are you keeping me in the ICU?
It happens like that. So I have like a funny story to tell here
Sure.
as well.
Yeah.
Is when I had my accident. Okay, that
Yeah.
is when I got up like after the accident, and I got hit by rickshaw, and then I got up and I was saying stop to another rickshaw to take me home. Like it was very funny. And when I spoke to my doctor, so I went to the hospital. Okay, I came home, and like when you come home, like sub mummy and everybody with haldi and everything, like they bombard
Huh.
on you,
Huh. Huh.
right? So after that happened, so my neck was like stiff because I had like four or five fractures into it, right?
Huh.
But I like was so high on adrenaline that I could not feel the pain. But
Okay.
I was like moving like this, so I was not able to move like this. Okay, my body was moving like this, so my entire structure was frozen because
Frozen, huh?
internal
Huh.
bleeding was happening, right? I didn't realize that, so I woke
And you
up.
were not even feeling any pain.
No, no, no. Because the amount of thing released in my bloodstream because
Hmm.
of the impact was so high that it numbed me like to another level.
Hmm.
Uh, so like my so this thing happened. I came home. After I came home, like around 10, I went to like the first hospital. Since I was like so high on energy because of the adrenaline, um, I went with my family to the first hospital. They wrapped me up with some bandages and stuff like that, and then I good to go home. Like they were busy in I don't know what, so admission denied. And since it was a police case because I got hit by a rickshaw, right? So I
Okay.
had to file an FIR as well. So for them it was like a hectic case कि हाँ ठीक है पहले FIR को register करो and then
Hmm. Hmm.
and like we didn't had any time to like process FIR till that point of time. So my dad
Hmm.
went and did that FIR thing, and one of his friends hospital was there like जहाँ पे connection था. So I got admitted there, and when the doctor came and he saw my x-ray and he checked and stuff like that, पूरा scenario उसको बताया. He's like, how did you break your neck? Because neck is the most difficult bone to break, like it's the most flexible one, right? So the impact of the accident was so huge that I can't imagine it, because my helmet broke. So I literally should have
Your
died at that
helmet
point.
broke.
Yeah,
You
my
had a
helmet broke.
helmet. You
Yeah,
had
I
the
had a
helmet.
helmet. Yes, I had. If I didn't had the helmet on, I would have not been here right now talking to you. Like my helmet broke into three pieces after the impact, and then like my bike was like damaged to another extent. But the funny story is like when I sat and spoke with the doctor, my doctor was like, did you had like blackouts? Did you had stuff like that? I told no. I got up and I had one blackout. Like I don't know how when I fly, like I did literally like Ritik Roshan ki tarah main uda and main gira, and like I can't remember that. Well, I was like suddenly on the ground. After that, I don't have like a blackout. So he said you are very lucky, because if you didn't had a blackout, that means your at least your brain is
Was
intact
working.
in that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
because when you have such a huge impact, your brain shakes literally inside the
Right.
skull,
Hmm.
right? And that creates a disorientation in a person, like headache and stuff like that, and sometimes it damages also. So a
Hmm.
lot of things were there, like memory loss, flash, vagera vagera. And then like when some of the reports came, he's like, you should not even be sitting right now. You realize that? Because your neck is like gone. And like immediately he was like chupchap bed pe leto, and like he got me like Philadelphia collar. And
Okay.
the next day CT scan was there. In CT scan it realized कि और ज़्यादा severe है, because X-ray में उतना detail में नहीं दिखता.
Oh God.
Like X-ray में तो luckily I had no disorientation, like the disc were there, but there were cracks all over.
Hmm.
So yeah, like after CT scan came, वो soft गद्दा मेरा hard गद्दे में बदल गया. Like I had like कि remove this, you need a hard one and you cannot sit down. After 11, I think, like on that day after 11 I started feeling pain. So for example, morning 7 o'clock my accident happened.
Huh.
uh, at night 11 I had the pain, and I can't, like if I have to scale it from 1 to 10, वो 100 पे होगा.
Okay.
So
You
I could
felt
not
that
sleep.
pain. Okay.
Yes, yes, because it came, because the adrenaline came down, right?
Huh.
And
Almost
I
after
was
16 hours. Almost after
yes,
16 hours.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So my body had the time to process it. And like I still remember, like I was on the bed, like everybody slept. I could not sleep for a second. Like the pain was like, it came like uh, a feeling that I already had, but I could not sense,
Hmm.
right? And like the next day CT स्कैन का रिपोर्ट आने वाला. So this is the time where मुझे उतने ज़्यादा पेन किलर एडमिनिस्टर अभी सलाइन में नहीं किए गए.
नहीं
So
दिया था.
like correct.
Okay.
So
हाँ.
yeah, and I didn't tell anybody कि क्योंकि मुझे नहीं फील हो रहा था,
हाँ.
right? So there was a window of like 8-9 hours जिसमें मैं एकदम प्योर एगनी में बर्न हुआ हूँ. Like I still remember that night, because आई डोंट थिंक लाइक कि मतलब इतना पेन मैंने उस एक रात में झेल लिया होगा ना, कि लाइक अभी सब आसान ही लगता है मेरे को
I
जिंदगी
know.
में.
I know.
So like and I could not sleep, I could not cry, I could not yell, because I don't know, like that kind of pain, it changes you.
Hmm.
Like but in the morning I realized कि यार मैं किस चीज से गुजर गया, and I'm unfazed. So I understood that I have a very strong mental fortitude. Like I was still positive. I spoke with the doctor. I told him like I could feel the pain,
हाँ.
and then he immediately gave me like वो proper saline, like जैसे होता है ना,
हाँ.
like the highest level of like painkillers were given.
Painkillers. हाँ.
Yeah. Matlab, even the oral medication, but and when you give painkillers, I don't know if people know about this, is the painkillers were so strong that it affects your body, right? So you have to also be given saline.
Yes.
राइट दोनों हो रहा था, तो एक हाथ से लाइक एक बार पेन किलर चढ़ रहा है, एक बार सलाइन चढ़ रहा है, सो लाइक पहले बैंड बजाओ और फिर थोड़ा सा खाना खिलाओ, बैंड
हाँ,
बजाओ थोड़ा सा खाना खिलाओ.
हाँ, हाँ,
So it is like very relatable situation
right.
that I have with you, like, and doctor told me, like, if you did not get up on your own to get another rickshaw, you would not have gotten up ever in life,
Right.
right? Like, so for that to happen, I don't know, and he was still surprised ki, okay, even after that, like, you are able to speak with me properly, or you're able to like remember things.
Hmm.
So like it's a good sign
Absolutely.
after what happened. But I definitely feel like when you go through such incidents, it unlocks a different level of you, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And very very
No two ways
relatable. I
about it.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine, like, this might, like, it won't be similar. The day when I realized that ki I would have to be on bed rest for like 3 months, 6 months, or
Hmm.
whatever it is, it did hit me
Hmm.
initially,
Hmm.
right? There was a time where I could not do anything but just think, lying on a bed,
Hmm.
right? Like, what now? Like, would I be able to, like, there is a moment of self doubt, obviously everybody has it,
Yes.
कि आगे कैसे होगा,
आगे
या
क्या होगा, कैसे होगा?
yeah,
Uncertainty, the fear of
uncertainty.
uncertainty, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to, like, let everybody know कि self doubt सबको होता है. Like, there is no person who doesn't have self doubt, but the
Yes.
point is you do it anyway.
Huh,
Like, you keep on moving it. Like, for me, I have started reading this recently, but I really like this quote, is like, do one more. So like, don't think about कि आगे future में क्या होने वाला है. Just think about कि I just need to do this for one more day.
huh,
So for me it started कि ठीक है, I need to get my strength back. सो लाइक मैंने लिटरली अपने सारे मसल को लॉस कर दिया था. आई वेंट टू
huh.
100 kgs, बिकॉज आप अगर चल नहीं रहे हो,
कुछ नहीं कर
नॉर्मल
रहे
डे
होगे,
टू डे
एग्जैक्टली।
एक्टिविटीज नहीं
हम्म,
कर रहे हो,
हम्म,
तो आपकी बॉडी वो भी मसल नहीं रखती है,
हाँ,
वो
हाँ,
उसको भी निकाल देती है.
हाँ, हाँ,
सो लाइक आई स्टार्टेड विद दिस कॉन्सेप्ट कि आई विल जस्ट डू वन मोर डे आई
हाँ,
विल बेयर द पेन, वन
राइट,
मोर डे आई विल ट्राई टू डू दिस. आई
राइट,
वॉज जस्ट
राइट।
थिंकिंग अबाउट वन डे एट अ टाइम.
One day at a
एंड
time.
या
Absolutely. That was
या
also my approach. And another quote, which was my favorite, was, if you are a little better than what you were yesterday, that is enough. That is
या
absolutely enough. Even if that little better is 0.001%, that
ट्रू
is also good. But you need to
ट्रू
be a little better than what you were yesterday. That's it. One day at a time. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I think this hits me is the slowest growth is the fastest.
Right.
Like, uh, that, because that is literally 99% of people can't do it.
Huh.
So, like, I always tell this to people that you should always fear somebody who is um, consistent for a very, very long time,
Right.
right? Because he will outwork you,
Huh.
and and that is something that compounds.
I think you had
Um,
put that on one of your reels also, that you need to be afraid of a person who is very consistent, right? If I'm not
yes, yes,
mistaken, right?
yes.
I
I
really
did, I
like that.
did.
I really like that. Consistency is the key. There is no two way about it. Absolutely.
क्या, मतलब अभी मेरे को आपसे बात करते हुए इट इज जस्ट हिटिंग मी कि
Yeah.
this entire journey of Neeraj, Dream with Neeraj, like impacting people, yeah, whatever it is,
Uh,
it would not be possible if I, on that bed that night, would have give up on myself.
yes.
I can't describe the pain I went through, and it was not just one day of pain. I
Uh,
was in like agony for like 1 year. Obviously, the pain reduced each day,
uh,
but to be for on painkillers for 3 months, to be, the first time I moved my neck, I still remember that I felt like crying, shouting, tears came out of my eye, but there was no sound. Like, I was in my washroom, and I was seeing myself, and I changed entirely how I look, right? I became like a potato. So there is a lot of things that you need to fight. Like, in cancer, somebody changes, loses their hair, they feel like they're not themselves anymore. I felt that. Like, I felt like I am not Neeraj anymore. Like, what is happening with me, right? I didn't look like what I used to look. I didn't feel like what I used to feel, right? And there was like pain continuously, like
uh,
24x7, and
uh,
nobody can understand it. Like, even if I tell somebody that I am in pain, nobody understands how I feel. Like, nobody
mm,
can take it away from me, right?
uh, 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 uh,
You just have to process it. And
absolutely.
And I feel that gave me a lot of perspective on life, like that pause. And अगर वो सब मेरे साथ नहीं होता एंड मैंने वहीं पे क्विट कर दिया होता या हार मान ली होती, तो आई वुडंट बी दिस, लाइक आई एम स्टिल सरप्राइज, मैं प्रोसेस कर रहा हूँ इस चीज़ को कि यार
हाँ,
मैं ये नहीं होता नीरज, लाइक वो बंदा मैं कभी बन ही नहीं पाता जो जिससे अब लोग प्यार करते हैं, राइट?
exactly.
एंड
Maybe, I
इट्स
mean, that is why these things happen in your life, you know. When you are
या
going through, you don't realize why you are going through it. Lekin, the universe has a different plan. They have their own plan. To prepare you for that particular thing, they need to put you through a process. And I think that's your testing time also. How you pass the test, right? You need to pass the test to go to the next level, right? I think that is
या
why the universe has those things. I mean, whatever happened, and I now tell that fortunately or unfortunately I had third stage cancer.
नहीं,
So
I to definitely tell that, I'm very glad that accident happened, because I feel
exactly.
that I've put in this on the reel as well, is that when
Hmm.
you ask God for, like, make me a champion, he can
Huh,
just give you challenges,
huh.
right? Because that is
Exactly.
what will make you a champion.
Hmm.
And if I didn't go through so much of pain, if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't realize my true potential,
True,
right?
true.
I was shaken down out of my comfort zone, not by choice, but by
Hmm.
situation.
Yeah.
But it is me who decides what I take out of it, right? I don't know where you are in life and what you are
Huh,
doing and what you're going through. I can definitely tell you this is कि अगर तुम उस सिचुएशन को अपने एडवांटेज की तरफ मोड़ सकते हो ना, लाइक यू कैन
huh,
टेक दैट towards a
huh.
perception that you have in mind कि okay, what is this trying to teach me, what
Hmm.
is this trying to make me into, right?
Hmm.
And I always tell this to people is that pain सबसे बढ़िया नहीं, pain is the only teacher of life. Like you don't remember the lesson if
हाँ,
there is no pain
हाँ, हाँ, बिल्कुल
in
अगर
it.
पेन नहीं होता तो you just forget it.
Yes,
Just
yes,
goody goody things, you don't remember things. तो
yeah,
मतलब
yeah,
अभी I appreciate life like anything.
yeah, yeah,
थ्राइस, आई मीन आई टेल दैट आई फॉट डेथ थ्राइस. एक तो कैंसर हुआ, कीमो
हाँ,
के बाद ही, आफ्टर फर्स्ट कीमो आई हैड कोविड एंड दैट वाज वेरी
oh,
बैड. एंड दैट वाज अ टाइम व्हेन देयर वाज अ स्कैरसिटी ऑफ ऑक्सीजन. ऑक्सीजन
hmm,
नहीं था. एंड
hmm,
माई आई वाज ब्लेस्ड दैट मेरा ऑक्सीजन लेवल डिप हुआ एंड सोसाइटी हैड द ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर जस्ट 5 minutes prior to that. We had a
oh,
notification that the oxygen cylinder is here in the society, and
hmm,
just after 5-10 minutes my oxygen started dripping. So I had the
oh,
oxygen cylinder next to me. Had it not been for the oxygen cylinder, I would not have survived COVID also. क्योंकि उस टाइम पे there was, you were not getting admission in any hospital, and there was no oxygen at all available. I mean हम तो बहुत ट्राई कर रहे थे क्योंकि that was there in back of the mind. क्योंकि डॉक्टर ने पहले ही बोल दिया था that she is undergoing chemotherapy. If she has COVID, that would be very very
bad,
very very severe, very very bad. I mean she would
hmm.
definitely, it will be tough for her to combat
Come
COVID
back,
during that
come
time,
back,
right? So third stage cancer, then COVID, and then that ICU wala episode happened. So three times I actually saw that very close by. I actually
got
thought
it, got it.
okay. So now
मतलब
I
एकदम
appreciate every day. I like, जियो तो हर दिन ऐसे जियो जैसे कि
जैसे
आखिरी
कि
हो.
आखिरी हो,
Absolutely. I mean, I
या
follow that principle like anything to the core.
yeah, I think a lot of people who have achieved like super success, they have gone through some extreme scenarios. Like even Steve Jobs went through pancreatic
Right.
cancer. A lot of people that are there,
Hmm.
so एक चीज मैं जानना चाहूंगा is that, since we both have like almost died, is that कि ये जो perception का shift होता है ना, कि यार जिंदा हो ना तो देख लेंगे आगे जिंदगी में क्या
Ha,
प्रॉब्लम आएगी,
exactly.
मतलब जिंदा हो ना बाकी का तो सॉर्ट
Bus.
कर लेंगे.
That is
तो
enough. That is enough.
दैट इज इनफ, लाइक वो होता है ना, मैं जब लोगों को देखता हूँ ना इस चीज के ऊपर रोते हुए कि यार आज आज ये हो गया, आज किसी ने चिल्ला दिया, आज खाना नहीं मिल रहा, आज भूख लगी है, क्या करूंगा, मतलब इट्स सो सिली, लाइक
I
आई
know.
नो इट्स लाइक
Your entire perception changes,
फुल,
I'm like, ये
लाइक
किस बात पे क्रिप कर रहे हैं? I mean, is
हाँ,
it something to even crip for?
एग्जैक्टली, लाइक जस्ट लाइक द लेडी बिसाइड्स यू, राइट, कि अच्छा मुझे पीसीओडी है, मुझे
हाँ.
ये है, मुझे मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट एवरीबडी हैज लाइक देयर ओन बैटल्स,
Own battle.
बट या बट यहाँ पे मैं एक पंचलाइन बोलना चाहूंगा इसकी, द क्वालिटी ऑफ योर लाइफ इज डिटरमाइंड बाय क्वालिटी ऑफ योर प्रॉब्लम्स. अगर
Exactly.
तुम्हारी प्रॉब्लम्स यही है ना कि आज खाने को नहीं मिल रहा, आज किसी ने कुछ बोल दिया तो मेरे को बुरा लग गया, तो तुम कभी ज़िंदगी में उठ भी नहीं सकते हो। हाँ, तुम अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स को चूज़ करो अच्छा कि अरे यार मैं आज इस साल 1 करोड़ नहीं कमा पाया, अरे
हाँ,
इस साल मैं इतने 1 मिलियन लाइफ को मैं इम्पैक्ट नहीं कर पाया, अरे इस
हाँ,
साल मैं अपने पेरेंट्स के लिए कुछ स्पेशल नहीं कर पाया। ट्राई टू क्रिएट प्रॉब्लम्स दैट पुश यू आउट ऑफ योर कंफर्ट
एग्ज़ैक्टली।
ज़ोन, राइट?
सो
लाइक
वेल सेड, सो वेल
ये
सेड। हाँ,
ये है ना? मतलब
हाँ।
भाई मैं तो बस यही बोलता हूँ खुद को कि नीरज ज़िंदा है ना, बाकी का तो जो होगा देखा
वो
जाएगा,
जो होगा
लाइक
देख लेगा।
विल विल
यू
विल
आर
फिगर
अलाइव
आउट।
एंड सारे तुम्हारे बॉडी पार्ट्स काम कर रहे हैं। उससे ज़्यादा और
हाँ,
ज़िंदगी में और
कुछ
चाहिए
नहीं
क्या
होता है।
भाई? बाकी सब
हाँ,
हो
हाँ।
जाएगा, बाकी सब हो जाएगा।
अरे मुझसे पूछ के देखो भाई, जब तुम हिल नहीं पाते तो कैसा लगता है? लाइक
हाँ,
आई फॉर अ गाय हू इज़ लाइक 25 years old, he was like taken on a stretcher, like 3 other guys are holding him, and
हुँ,
obviously I weighed a lot at that point of time because
हुँ,
मैं बेड रेस्ट पे था तो my weight
हाँ,
like shot up like crazy.
हाँ,
uh, एंड सलाइन वलाइन से भी हो जाता है because they
हाँ,
administer a lot of
हाँ,
like saline, right?
राइट,
तो उस बंदे से पूछो जो हिल नहीं पा रहा था कि हिलने की वैल्यू क्या है, लाइक यूजिंग।
हाँ,
मैं बहुत बार ऐसे खुद के हाथ को देखता हूँ, लाइक आई एम एबल टू मूव मैन, लाइक मेरे
हाँ।
लिए वो भी एक ग्रेटिट्यूड वाली फीलिंग हो जाती है। सो
राइट,
लाइक यू नो देर इज अ वेरी वेरी बिग शिफ्ट दैट हैपन्स, एंड
हुँ,
आई डेफिनेटली फील लाइक इट विल मेक यू स्ट्रांग। सो कोई भी बंदा किसी भी चीज से लड़ रहा है ना, तो बस एक चीज याद रखना कि द वॉल इज ओनली टॉल
हाँ,
अनलेस यू क्रॉस इट, राइट?
एग्ज़ैक्टली, बिल्कुल,
वंस यू हैव
एकदम।
डन इट, फिर वो कुछ नहीं लगने वाली, फिर तुम
कुछ नहीं
जंपिंग
लगता
झपाक
है।
कर सकते हो उसके
हाँ,
साथ।
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ,
हाँ, एंड आई डेफिनेटली नो लाइक कि मेरा एटीट्यूड टुवर्ड्स लाइफ हैज बिकम लाइक कि ठीक है, व्हाटएवर इट इज ना, आई कैन फिगर इट आउट, जस्ट वन मोर डे, एंड दैट इज हाउ आई गो।
राइट।
So yeah, a very very big shift. So like, is there any particular time in your journey of cancer is
हाँ,
where you felt like कि यहाँ पे मैं टूट गई, like the self doubt came, and then after that you moved like one more day, and then it was like कि suddenly there was a positive upsurge of things कि अच्छा ये भी हो रहा है, ये भी हो रहा है, now I feel like I can come out of it.
हाँ, I told you ना, the first week was bad, just the
Okay.
first week. उस टाइम
Okay.
में there was one instant जिसके बाद से I started again taking NLP very seriously. There was one instant क्योंकि रोज hospital, रोज test,
Hmm.
you get frustrated. You are spending the entire day in the hospital, one test after test, and you have to wait, right? हर टेस्ट के आगे तुम्हें वेट करना पड़ता था. एंड वन डे आई वाज सो फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, मैंने क्या किया, सारे जितने मेरे रिपोर्ट्स थे ना, जितने मेरे डॉक्यूमेंट्स थे, आई जस्ट थ्रू इट. मैंने बोला मुझे नहीं कराना ट्रीटमेंट, आई एम डन. जो होगा देखा जाएगा, मैं ट्रीटमेंट नहीं करा रही हूँ, आई एम डन. आई वाज सो
Hmm.
डैम फ्रस्ट्रेटेड. So you have met my son Irfan, right? He was 17 at that time.
Hmm.
So he came. मतलब उसके बाद both me and my husband broke down. We didn't know how to handle it. Both of us, we just hugged and we cried, cried, cried. Both of us just cried. Then
Hmm.
when we calmed down, जब हम थोड़े शांत हो गए, my son Irfan,
Hmm.
he came and he
Hmm.
told me one thing, that Mama, we are there to support you. हम खड़े हैं,
Hmm.
we are rock
Hmm.
solid standing next to you. But it is you who have to find a purpose why you want to be alive.
True.
you know he told me that. That really hit me hard. He was like, it is you who has to have that just for to be alive. You should be the one who wants to be alive, and that would come from the fact that you have some purpose in life. You want to do something in life because of which you want to be alive. You have to bring that on your own. Nobody else can do it for you. We are there, we'll support you, we are there, we'll take care of you to the best of our possibilities. But at the end of the day, it is you who have to take the decision that you want to be alive. That really hit me, like,
Hmm.
okay, now my son is making me understand that fact, and that really shifted. From that day onwards, Neeraj, I never looked back. I never looked back. It was all positive, all positive, all positive.
Acha, I think I got to know something very interesting that is very similar again, is कि there is a shift that happens with gratitude, true. There is also a shift that happens that makes you realize कि सिर्फ तुम ही लड़ सकते हो अपनी लड़ाई, कोई
हाँ,
कुछ नहीं कर सकता उसमें.
कोई कुछ नहीं कर
Like
सकता.
when I was going through it, when you were going through it, it is like कि you at a point realize कि चाहे कोई कितना ही अच्छा वेल विशर क्यों ना हो, कितनी अच्छी पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग तुम्हारे लिए क्यों ना रखे, unless and until you have that positive mindset, unless and until you fight for yourself, your situation can't get better, right?
Exactly.
तो डोंट होप लाइक कि तुम्हारा एक्सटर्नल स्टिमुलस तुम्हारे इंटरनल्स को ठीक कर सकता है. इट
ठीक
विल
करेगा.
ऑलवेज कम फ्रॉम योर कोर,
विद इन,
राइट?
एकदम कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता है. दैट हैज टू कम फ्रॉम विद इन. वो खुद ही आता है, कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता उस पे।
Hmm. So yeah, matlab, I just don't want people to give up on themselves, and that is why I'm emphasizing on such small things. कि ये जो attitude और ये जो सोच है ना, it definitely makes the maximum difference. I know दवाइयाँ हैं, healthy lifestyle है, n number of things that the doctors will tell you कि ये करो, but that will only amplify what is coming from your heart,
हम्म,
right? So just have your heart at the right place, believe in yourself, and I can tell you, you can make out of it, like you can
Yes.
definitely
Believing in
uh,
yourself, it's amazing. And then one book also helped me. I would like to quote it. There was
yes,
this
yes.
book by Louise Hay, which says you can heal yourself. So I read that book. So that also helped me. That helped me a lot. That also helped me a lot.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend, like there are a lot of good books out there, uh, which definitely will nudge you in the right direction. So a lot of time क्या होता है कि अगर हमारे पास पॉजिटिव थॉट्स नहीं है तो दूसरे से ले लो,
हाँ,
ले लो, कोई मना नहीं
हाँ,
करेगा।
हाँ,
लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स वी थिंक कि हमें ही सब कुछ फिगर आउट करना है, ऐसा
हाँ,
नहीं है। पीपल हैव
हाँ,
गॉन थ्रू द सेम एक्सपीरियंस, पीपल हैव,
हाँ,
लाइक मैंने जब मेरा ये हुआ था ना, आई स्टिल रिमेंबर देयर वर अ फ्यू मूवीज on athletes who
हाँ,
had gone through like neck breakage, right?
ओके, हाँ,
And I saw those movies and then I got
हाँ,
inspired कि हाँ ठीक है, ये
हाँ,
बंदा कर सकता है तो
ये
मैं
कर
क्यों नहीं
सकता,
कर
मैं क्यों नहीं
सकता?
कर सकता? एब्सोल्युटली, हाँ,
Exactly.
हाँ,
And that is what I needed at that point of time, right?
हाँ,
एंड मे बी आई एम टुडे समबडीज एग्जाम्पल कि हाँ ठीक है, अगर नीरज कर सकता है तो मैं क्यों नहीं कर
हाँ,
सकता?
एंड टेक हेल्प। इसमें मैं
यस,
एक
यस।
और इंसिडेंट आई लाइक टू कोट। मैंने बोला ना बीच में कीमो, आफ्टर 2 कीमोथेरेपीज माय लीवर प्रोफाइल वे डीरेंज्ड, बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम हुआ था। सो आई वाज आस्क्ड टू गो टू अ गैस्ट्रो स्पेशलिस्ट। तो गैस्ट्रो के पास मैं गई, तो वहां पे उन्होंने कुछ टेस्ट बोला। तो एक एक दो टेस्ट के बाद दे सेड यू हैव टू गो फॉर अ लिवर बायोप्सी एंड मोस्ट एंड इट विल कम पॉजिटिव, दैट वर द वर्ड्स, हाँ, you have to go for a liver biopsy and that would be positive. I was like, I want to change this doctor. I am not going to take this. I changed my doctor. He said ki nahi nahi itna mat socho, just get these 2 3, I mean he had given around 10 15 tests ki itne itne test karo, and each test was not less than 5 to 6,000, and एक कोई मतलब around 5 6 टेस्ट ऐसे भी थे जो 15 20,000 के थे। मैं बोली इतने टेस्ट तो मैं नहीं करवाऊंगी। I went to another doctor and he told me कि just get these 2 tests done. If we find something here, then we might go for further investigation. That was the phase when I was feeling very very low again। अभी तो एक चीज से फाइट कर रही हूँ, now they are saying कि अभी ये लिवर कैंसर भी होगा हो। I mean उसने तो डिक्लेयर ही कर दिया था कि आपको लिवर
अच्छा,
कैंसर भी हो गया है।
अच्छा,
During
अच्छा।
that time I took counseling। तब मैंने
गॉट इट।
काउंसलिंग ली, तब मैंने हेल्प किया। शी ओनली सजेस्टेड मी, देयर वाज दिस गर्ल कॉल्ड हनी
हम्म।
विचानी। अगेन आई मेट हर थ्रू सक्सेस ज्ञान ओनली। तो हनी विचानी, शी इज अ लाइफ कोच, उसने मुझे काउंसलिंग दी। शी हैड फॉट पोलियो with the help of this
ओके,
book, Louise
ओके,
Hay की
ओके।
teaching से।
गॉट इट,
He
गॉट
only
इट।
introduced me to this book। जब मैंने उसकी काउंसलिंग ली, वो बुक पढ़ा, दैट इज व्हाई आई टोल्ड यू दैट अगर जरूरत लगे टेक हेल्प।
यस, यस,
बहुत हेल्प
एग्जैक्टली,
अवेलेबल है, बट
एग्जैक्टली।
यू हैव टू टेक इट फ्रॉम द राइट पर्सपेक्टिव। तुम्हारा
करेक्ट।
एटीट्यूड, और उसको सुनो, उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करो। सिर्फ सेशन लेके छोड़ दोगे तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला।
कुछ नहीं होगा,
सेशन लेने
करेक्ट।
के बाद स्टार्ट इम्प्लीमेंटिंग वट एवर वॉज टॉट टू यू ड्यूरिंग दैट सेशन। तो दैट वॉज समथिंग आई डिड, या।
Got it. So, like, did this session include NLP as well? Like,
No,
from
no,
that
no, no,
life
no.
coach?
It was a normal
Just
counseling session. Normal counseling
okay,
session.
okay, got it. And I don't know, like, why people don't go for counseling. I think
Right,
everybody needs it. It's
right.
not about कि तुम्हें cancer होगा या तुम्हें कोई disease होगा या you are in
हाँ,
like worst of your life कि you need counseling. You need counseling like at different parts of your life. जहाँ पे अगर
हाँ,
तुम अपने आप को release नहीं करोगे ना, there are a lot of
हाँ.
things that we suppress as a human,
Right,
and
absolutely.
and we need to release those,
हाँ.
right? And a lot of times we become toxic for ourselves,
हम्म,
राइट? कोई बाहर वाला नहीं
हम्म.
है, मैं ही खुद के लिए टॉक्सिक हो गया हूँ,
हाँ, हाँ,
बिकॉज आई एम नॉट लेटिंग इट आउट, लाइक आई एम नॉट लेटिंग
हाँ.
माई इमोशंस आउट, and that reflects on your body as well, right?
हम्म, हम्म.
तो so I request people, like, and it has become very cheap now, like ऐसा नहीं है
हाँ.
कि तुम्हें बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सपेंसिव है। एक ज़माना था कि काउंसलिंग वाज लाइक अ वेरी एक्सपेंसिव थिंग, राइट?
हम्म.
नाउ इट इज़ लाइक एवरीबडी
It's
वांट्स टू,
affordable.
लाइक,
It's
या,
absolutely affordable. बिल्कुल
या,
लो। और जो
बिल्कुल लो,
इमोशंस की
या,
तुमने बात की ना, मोस्ट ऑफ द डिजीजेस आर बिकॉज वी होल्ड इमोशंस। We hold emotions। There was this. I keep on taking some of the other courses. There's this organization called Sattvic Movement.
Yeah,
They
I
had
know.
this 21 days health challenge. I had taken that. तो
Hmm.
वहां पे एक एपिसोड था where they were talking about emotions, holding emotions. So there was, I don't remember the name of the institute. There was this
Hmm.
organization somewhere in America which has
Hmm.
100% result of treating cancer
Got it.
through natural ways, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So she was talking that there was this lady who was undergoing treatment there, but everything, she was following everything, all the instructions,
Hmm.
everything
Hmm.
was going on, but she was not healing. So she
Got it.
became a case study that every other person is healing. What is happening to this lady? Why is she not healing? So they
Hmm.
had this counseling session. They had this psychologist who came and spoke to her. Then they came to know that there was some childhood trauma, there was some emotions which she was holding, because of which she was not healing. They started working on that. She started releasing those emotions, and ultimately her cancer was healed. So
Hmm.
you have to be very very careful about your emotions. और जो तुम बोल रहे हो ना, counseling sessions helps in this way
Yeah,
only,
yeah,
by letting
yeah.
out that emotions go. You need to let out that emotions go. कभी कभी हम अपने close लोगों के साथ वो बातें नहीं कर सकते. You need people to talk to, right? So
Yes,
इसीलिए
exactly.
counseling sessions के लिए बिल्कुल जाओ. And as you
मेरी
said,
तरफ से भी
they are
रिक्वेस्ट है.
they are very very affordable now.
Yeah,
Please जाओ
yeah, yeah,
seriously.
yeah. एंड पता है बहुत बार मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि लोगों को पता भी नहीं होता है कि उनके लाइफ में ट्रॉमा हुआ है. लाइक इट
हाँ.
कम्स आउट इन द सेशन, लाइक स्पेशली इन टर्म्स ऑफ चाइल्ड ट्रॉमा, बिकॉज तुम खुद बच्चे थे, बट योर मेमोरी
Same
रिमेंबर्स इट.
happened with me, Neeraj. After I took my session with Hani
या,
Vichani, and after reading this book by Louise
या,
Hay, I mean, there are causes like breast के लिए क्या है,
ऑब्वियसली.
cancer के लिए क्या है, क्या causes है. They tell you कि
गॉट
these
इट.
are the causes. It took me 3 days of introspection to realize कि what was it that I was holding. मुझे खुद को नहीं पता था. I considered myself to be a very happy-go-lucky person. I considered myself to be that. I was like, ऐसा क्या इमोशन है जो मैंने होल्ड करके रखा हुआ है?
Hmm.
एंड बिलीव मी, 3 days, 3 दिन का इंट्रोस्पेक्शन किया, मेडिटेशन किया, बैठी शांति में कि what was it that I was holding. Then I got to know what I was holding, and then what I did was, ये almost मतलब who are into this healing and all, they would know. Write down. If you cannot do anything about that emotion, write it
Exactly.
down and burn it.
Exactly.
I same emotions 21 days together. I wrote it down. I burnt it every day, and that really helped me to heal. That helped me to
A lot of time, like, you have to let go of that negativity, that energy that's
heal.
inside your body,
Right,
that's inside your mind, right? I definitely feel like the way you think, you perceive your mind will definitely control your body, right? ऐसी उसको मतलब इतनी वैल्यू नहीं दी गई है
right.
कि वो पूरी बॉडी को कंट्रोल कर रहा है. लाइक as long as your thoughts somewhere down the line have that negativity in them, that trauma in them, it will limit your potential, right? It will not let you unlock your true maximum effect in the world. So,
Right.
like, ye karo. And I personally, like, I've been journaling for, like, I don't know, मतलब बचपन में तो मैं मस्ती मस्ती में करता था, but
Hmm.
like from past 2 years, like, I've been journaling with a lot of seriousness, ki,
Huh.
because it helps a lot, because a lot of time when you write, is that physical is what you remember, your body knows, you are penning it down, your cells remember कि हाँ तूने ये emotion लिखा है,
लिखा
and
है.
it helps you a lot. Like, I have literally cried a lot of times when I'm journaling, because कोई ना कोई emotion बाहर आ जाता है,
बिल्कुल,
right? I go
बिल्कुल,
back to, like, maybe some childhood memory, I go back
बिल्कुल.
to maybe some discussion, and it helps. Honestly, it helps.
It helps. It
uh,
helps a lot. It helps a lot.
yeah, yeah. And especially to people like us जो किसी चीज से गुजर रहे हैं, या
हाँ,
ऐसी किसी ट्रॉमेटिक सिचुएशन से गुजरे हैं
हाँ,
कि their body remembers it, right?
हाँ.
So, like, now I take it like very positively कि हाँ एक्सीडेंट हुआ वगैरह वगैरह, but at that point of time, तो I was in immense
ट्रॉमा
pain.
था. It was a trauma. Yes,
Yeah, it was a
absolutely.
trauma. Now I know कि ठीक है, that trauma gave me a lot of perspective in life, a lot of meaning in life, right? But उस बंदे को नहीं समझ में आएगा जो जर्नी के अंदर है अभी.
हाँ,
So
हाँ.
if you are in that journey, definitely use, like, journaling, definitely listen to audios, and definitely meditate.
Right.
Because meditation say, like, I started with meditation with like using a sound. So a lot of people think like कि मुझे मेडिटेशन में अपने दिमाग में थॉट ही नहीं लाने देना किसी
हाँ,
को, विच इज़ वेरी रॉन्ग.
वेरी
ऐसा नहीं
रॉन्ग.
हो सकता.
मेडिटेशन का
लाइक
हवा बनाया हुआ है एक्चुअली.
हाँ, हाँ, एंड
It's very simple. It's very simple.
इट्स वेरी
Even
सिंपल.
silence is meditation. If you're sitting
या
in silence,
या
that is meditation.
like getting yourself disconnected. So now I practice this like every day. I disconnect myself and I go to a walk.
हाँ,
Like I am not connected with any kind of a medium,
हाँ, हाँ,
internet से नहीं, किसी से नहीं.
हाँ,
In
हाँ,
that particular 30 minutes, 20 minutes, I am with myself alone.
absolutely.
And what happens is कि जब कोई external stimulus नहीं होता ना, तो तुम्हारी
हाँ,
body तुम्हें बताती है कि तुम्हें क्या चाहिए.
हाँ,
Like you have to let yourself also react to life. मतलब
हाँ,
तुम सिर्फ लाइफ जैसे बता रही है वैसे करते मत जाओ.
hmm,
Right, and that will, you will only recognize when you are okay with getting bored, when you're okay
हाँ,
with yourself. A
हाँ.
lot of people can't face themselves because अगर वो अकेले बैठेंगे ना तो उनको वही सवाल हॉन्ट करेंगे जिसका उनके पास जवाब नहीं है.
जवाब नहीं है. True.
Right, and because of that they never stay alone, and then their happiness is so screwed because वो दूसरों में ही अपनी हैप्पीनेस ढूंढते हैं. Like
ढूंढते रहते हैं.
हाँ,
हाँ,
वो खुद के साथ कभी खुश नहीं रह सकते.
खुश नहीं
Like
रह सकते.
they just want some series, they just want somebody, they
Some
just maybe
external
want.
stimulus to be happy. Yeah.
Addicts are the best example.
हाँ, हाँ.
Like वो problem को primarily solve नहीं करेंगे.
हम्म,
What they do is they try to submerge themselves and forget about it temporarily,
हाँ,
and then they are using one more in a different way.
हाँ.
Like कि आज भूल जाता हूँ, कल भूल जाता हूँ, आज भूल जाता हूँ, कल भूल जाता हूँ, and then it keeps on going.
Going
Right.
on. Hmm.
So I would urge you कि please face yourself, because unless तुम वो question answer का काम खत्म नहीं करोगे ना,
हाँ,
तो तुम लाइफ में बढ़ नहीं पाओगे आगे.
exactly. बिल्कुल,
Right. And
बिल्कुल.
that is like coming from a lot of like my own experience. I think you might agree with it.
हाँ,
So
absolutely. बिल्कुल.
yeah, please face yourself. You
Face it, face
can't.
it. Absolutely, face it. बिल्कुल.
Yeah, so now I want to pivot this down to like, you are an NLP coach, so I want to like briefly touch upon it, and I want to understand your NLP ka fayda, like how it helped you in your cancer ka journey. Like if you can give a like a gist of it.
See, NLP, the basic concept is neuro linguistic programming. Basically, we have billions of neurons in our body, and our neurons actually instructs our brain to do whatever we want to do. Like if I'm talking to you, if I'm moving my hand like this, it is ultimately
Hmm.
my neurons telling my brain that I need to move my hand like this.
Hmm.
So, this is the language of the neurons, the language which the neurons understand. If I put it in a layman's language, अगर मैं एक सॉफ्टवेयर का प्रोग्रामिंग इंग्लिश में टाइप करके लिखूं, the software won't run, right? I have
Hmm.
to write in a language in which the software runs, like it would be a C++, Python, Java. कोई भी programming language में लिखूंगी तभी the software is going to run, right? Same is with our neurons. It is the language of the neurons. These are basically to be again in a layman's language, these are all self hypnosis kind of techniques in which you communicate to your neurons, and then the neurons give that particular instructions to the brain which you actually want. So ultimately what happens is you are talking to the neurons, you are telling the neurons this is the kind of life I want to lead, and ultimately you will lead that kind of life. And it's magic, Neeraj. It's absolutely magic. Like I told you that after having that low down phase, after my son told me, I was like, I know how to talk to my neurons, how to train my neurons.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
used to again practice those techniques very, very religiously. And as I told you that after the first chemotherapy, I never had the problem. Like I never felt weakness. I did everything, after healing from my surgery. I did paragliding during the treatment. After completing my radiations, I did trekking to the Tiger Falls, that is in Chakrata,
Hmm.
which was
Hmm.
again around 10 to 50, 10 to 12 kilometers of trek. जबकि बोला
Hmm.
जाता है कीमोथेरेपी के बाद आप नॉर्मल चलना भी मुश्किल है आपके लिए.
Correct.
But it is all up here. I train my neurons that I am going to do it. I will be
Got
able
it.
to do it. I am doing
Got it.
it. Like, you just have to instruct your neurons. You just need to talk to your neurons in the language that they understand, and then you will lead the life that you actually want to.
Awesome, yeah. Like I am really intrigued about this NLP thing, and like if it can help somebody fight cancer,
It helps
like
people in different aspects.
yeah.
Like my son, he got 46% in his 12th 10th board pre-boards.
Okay.
I was heading a department at that time. I was into academics. I was like, my son getting 46% in his board. And then I told him that we need to practice this techniques. So I religiously made him practice some of the techniques which would obviously help him with his academics. And after a month, I mean, we just had the month of February, because pre-board results
Boards.
came January end.
Yeah, yeah,
February
yeah.
month we
Got it.
had, and first week of March he had his boards, and ultimately he got 86% in his boards. So it helps people in different spheres of life, not only in your health pattern, everything. I mean, it helps people to de-addict themselves also. They can if somebody is addicted, as you were just discussing, that to reduce their pain they
Mhm.
get addicted to few things which is obviously harming them. So in de-addiction also it helps in overcoming your phobias, lot many things. There are n many number of spheres. I mean, it's a deep ocean. NLP is a deep deep ocean. I what I consider myself, I'm like still in the waves, I'm still touching the waves. It's a deep deep ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's being very humble, guys. Don't go for that. Uh, and if like I can quickly ask you like one simple thing in NLP that you practice that help you in that your in your cancer journey, like one small thing that you remember कि हाँ इस चीज ने बहुत ज्यादा help किया था.
I used to instruct my neurons that each and every cell of my body is healthy, because cancer is
Okay,
nothing but unhealthy,
unhealthy
dangerous
cells.
cells, right? So that was something which really helped me to recover. My doctors were also very very amazed with the recovery that I made. I mean, they were very astonished that
Okay.
इतनी जल्दी
Okay.
इतना recover होता नहीं है generally.
Haha. So is it like I'm just asking this? I have no idea. Is there a process of doing this? Like, is
Yes,
there a process of doing this
there's a
technique?
process, and there's a process, and you have to learn that process from expert.
Got it. Got it. And इसको हम मतलब we'll dissect NLP in next episode when Dr.
Absolutely.
Tyson is back with us. I think NLP को हम 5 मिनट में खत्म नहीं कर सकते. But I
बिल्कुल.
definitely wanted to emphasize कि NLP is a technique which is as powerful as you make it, right? It's on you, and it's on you in terms of any technique. Like we recently had Ayushi, she's an Ho'oponopono expert, right?
Yes, Hoponopono.
uh, s- yeah, and that is also working helping a lot of people,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And um I am so happy that there are so many different approaches that people can feel comfortable applying on them. And अभी तो वो लिमिटेशन भी नहीं रही है कि भाई अगर
हाँ,
ये नहीं अच्छा लगा तो ये ट्राई करो. Like
हाँ.
for some people I think something might work better, right? Because
Exactly. You have to find out. अगर मैं
yeah,
अपना बोलूं, so I was in this journey of self development since long. ये ट्राई
got
कर
it,
रही थी, वो ट्राई कर रही थी, मेडिटेशन ट्राई कर रही थी, कुछ स्पिरिचुअल चीजें ट्राई कर रही थी. I was trying a lot many things. But when I was introduced to NLP, I was like, okay, this is something I resonate with. This is something which
got
is,
it,
something which I love doing. So
got it.
something might work for you, something might work for some other person. So you have to keep on trying what actually works for you. That's it.
Yeah. So अगर NLP किसी को try करना हो तो definitely you know who the person is to reach out. Yeah, and she's been doing that for a pretty long time now. She's been a practitioner, right? अभी तो like it's to 2024 and she was diagnosed with cancer, and before that she knew NLP. So you can imagine the experience here.
Right.
And I definitely feel very fascinated by the power of your subconscious mind, right? Ki,
Yes.
like if you really really push yourself just a little bit and believe in yourself just a little bit, you can't even imagine the life you can create, right? It's literally that you can create your life. Like मैं एक टाइम पे ये मानता था कि यार ऐसे कैसे किसी ने बोल दिया यार तुम जो सोचोगे वो पाओगे. मैं वो कर रहा हूँ मतलब literally see your when your thoughts become so powerful that you can't ignore them. I left my job. I am in my journey. Uh, she's a super speaker participant. I am a super speaker participant. We both are like racing ahead for that top 10 ka seat right now. So like I met her through that. But all of these things were not possible if like I didn't put out an intention in the universe कि मुझे ये
हाँ,
चाहिए, like.
बिल्कुल.
And not just intention, like we took small actions.
Actions,
Because
सिर्फ intentions नहीं. This is what I am wearing also. My actions, my intention. I'm wearing this.
nice, nice. Like I
You
have
are
like
also
this.
wearing something.
Yeah, I have this band. It says like, I am greater than my fears.
Right,
Right.
right.
So
Abs-
uh definitely, like, have such things in front of you. It definitely more, like, keeps you on the right frequency of
हाँ,
energy
हाँ,
get those things done.
हाँ.
So
But
productivity to,
action is very very important. Like mine is, my actions are greater than my intentions. My actions has to be greater than my intentions. It's not. It just
huh.
only keep talking and talking and do nothing. That's not going to work, right?
Yeah, yeah. And recently we both were at Changemakers event, right, through Success
Right,
Gyan.
right.
And this is what we got, and it's a
Uh,
lovely, like, thing. I think people with, even if you take example of Surin, right? Like, that guy literally had an intention of, like, impacting society in a very positive way. And
Absolutely.
he created Success Gyan, and now we were at Changemakers, and impacting so many people, creating so many livelihoods. So all it took was one thought कि मुझे ये करना है.
करना है.
uh, even there were so many brilliant speaker at change makers, right? And I was like, okay, this is something so mind blowing, that everybody has gone through so much of pain in their life, and
Right.
and still they are here, and still their journey is so amazing. So मुझे quote याद आ रहा है, like, punchline is that the epic your failure, the epic is your story. Like, there cannot be a epic story without an epic failure.
Without a, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Without the
so
pain, basically. Without the pain.
yeah, without the pain तो life ही exist नहीं कर सकती, right?
uh,
You are pain free when you're dead.
uh.
If you can feel pain, that means you're alive, and alive is beautiful. So
Yes.
so yeah, it's all about perspective. It all comes down to, like, what you perceive life to be. So
Absolutely.
yeah, very interesting. Like, we both become public speakers. Like, दोनों, एक का गला टूटा हुआ था, एक एक and she has survived 3 times. I have, like, barely survived 1 time. Like, मेरा तो एक ही में पत्ता कटने वाला. But it's like, if people like us can do it, like, and I'm not saying this because we have done it. I'm saying this because there are a lot of people like us who are out there, who might be not on this podcast right now, but trust me, like, there are so many people who are going through what you have gone through, who have conquered what you're gone through. किसी का fear unique नहीं होता.
हाँ,
Everybody goes through same things.
हाँ.
It's like we just feel like कि ये मेरी अकेले की प्रॉब्लम है. ऐसा नहीं
प्रॉब्लम.
है, ये
हाँ.
सबकी प्रॉब्लम है.
बहुत लोगों की
एंड
प्रॉब्लम है. हाँ.
हाँ, और अगर सबकी प्रॉब्लम है, तो सबने उसका सोल्यूशन भी निकाला है. सो अगर
निकाला है.
तुम्हें एक सोल्यूशन पसंद नहीं आ रहा है ना, तो सेम प्रॉब्लम का दूसरा बंदा ढूंढो.
दूसरा होगा. True.
Right. So just try to find and like, don't take life too seriously. It's very simple to
हाँ,
live. भूख लगी है तो खाना खाओ, घूमने का मन कर रहा है तो घूमने जाओ. Like, don't try to complicate it कि अच्छा,
हाँ,
घूमने के लिए बहुत पैसा लगता है. इंटेंशन
हाँ,
लगती है.
हाँ,
Like, you figure out कि कैसे फाइनेंसेस को मैनेज करना है, राइट?
हाँ,
सो यू नीड टू लर्न टू डू थिंग्स दैट वे. वरना तो, मतलब, एक्ट करना इज वेरी इजी.
हाँ.
लाइक, एक्ट ऑफ कि मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, और शिद्दत वाली कोशिश में बहुत फर्क होता है,
फर्क होती
राइट?
है.
हाँ, मैंने ट्राई किया था यार, बट नहीं हुआ मेरे से.
नहीं हुआ.
लाइक,
हाँ,
एक्चुअली मैं ट्राई किया था क्या? नहीं. पूरी
हाँ.
जान लगा के ट्राई किया था क्या? नहीं.
It is very
तो
easy to give excuses. Very
या
very
या
easy.
या लाइफ हैपेंस व्हेन you keep on giving excuses. उसके बीच में कहीं लाइफ होती है. So yeah, so beautiful. I think, before we end this podcast, I want to ask you, like, what is that one message that you would want to give to anybody out there who may be going through a lot of shit in his life, like maybe some health condition, maybe something else, maybe relationship issue, which you want to add, like कि तुम्हारे life experiences. So, like, what would be your piece of advice?
See, I personally believe that I am a person who sees light in even the worst of the scenarios. So हर सिनेरियो में कुछ ना कुछ तो तुम्हें अच्छा ही दिखेगा. जैसे मैंने तुम्हें बोला कि कीमोथेरेपी में आई वाज लूजिंग ऑल द हेयर, बट द पॉजिटिव साइड वाज मुझे वैक्सीन नहीं करनी पड़ी 2 साल, ऑलमोस्ट 2 इयर्स, राइट? सो हर चीज में, हर बुराई में देखोगे कुछ ना कुछ पॉजिटिव दिखेगा ही दिखेगा. just try to see that light. अगर सिर्फ उतना कर लिया ना, that is like that will help you to overcome your pain very very comfortably. बहुत easily उस पेन से बाहर निकल जाओगे. जस्ट ट्राई कि जो भी प्रॉब्लम है उसमें कोई एक सिल्वर लाइनिंग ढूंढने की कोशिश करो. यू विल डेफिनेटली फाइंड. वो इंटेंशंस डालो, एक्शन डालो, वो जरूर दिखेगा तुम्हें. Once you see that,
Hmm.
that problem doesn't become a problem for you. That becomes an opportunity. That becomes, you see it from a different perspective. वो चीज तुम्हें अच्छी लगने लग जाती है फिर.
करेक्ट, एंड दैट्स अ ब्यूटिफुल मैसेज. मैं आई थिंक ये पॉडकास्ट का यही मैसेज होगा, जस्ट ट्राई इट वन मोर टाइम.
हाँ,
Like, you are just one more away from whatever is that you're trying to achieve. It
right.
can be health, wealth, relationship, anything.
हाँ,
So yeah, just don't give up on yourself one more day,
yes.
and
One more day.
eventually you.
I mean, one day at a time. बस ऐसे अगर
Yeah,
प्रॉब्लम में
yeah,
फेस कर रहे हो. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
That's it.
ज़्यादा बहुत ज़्यादा सोचते हैं लोग.
हाँ,
And before we end this podcast, I just want to recommend one book, is that How to Stop Worrying and Start Living.
hmm.
Because and it's by Dale Carnegie.
हाँ,
um,
डेल कार्नेगी.
when I realized that I was facing a lot of stress, I started seeing it in my hair loss, I started seeing it on my skin, right? I had like bloating issues, and then I realized ki yaar, that book made me realize ki a lot of people die just because of worrying. And the
Yes.
funny thing is ki they they die because of something that has not happened yet. They make it up in their mind,
Mind.
राइट? कि कल को क्या होगा, इसी चिंता में आज लोग मर रहे हैं. अरे कल को क्या होगा वो अब तो हुआ ही नहीं अब तक,
हाँ,
राइट? एंड लाइक आई दिस वाज लाइक अ वेरी चैलेंजिंग लाइक टर्निंग पॉइंट फॉर मी कि अरे यार, मैं उन सब चीजों के बारे में सोच के परेशान हो रहा हूँ जो अभी तक मेरे साथ हुई ही नहीं है,
हुआ ही नहीं है.
राइट?
बिल्कुल.
आई
ये
एम लाइक
बहुत सच बात है. लोग उसको सोच-सोच के क्रिएट कर लेते हैं. सोचो ही मत.
करेक्ट, करेक्ट,
बिल्कुल. I mean, I'm really resonating with what you were saying, नीरज. वो सोचो ही मत. जस्ट आज भी जियो ना. आज भी जियो. जस्ट try
करेक्ट.
to be little better from what you were yesterday. आज का तुम्हारा काम इतना ही है. That's it.
एंड यू नो व्हाट, एक और चीज मैं इसमें ऐड करना चाहूंगा, लाइक कि दिस इज अ स्किल. लोग सोचते हैं कि ये एक दिन में कोई सीख जाता है, नहीं सीखता.
हाँ, नहीं
लिविंग इन
सीखता.
द मोमेंट इज अ स्किल.
Skill.
चूजिंग टू स्टे हैप्पी इज अ स्किल.
Skill.
Prioritizing yourself is a skill. Because
Absolutely.
when you start focusing on your own growth, you
हाँ,
will find a lot of resistance,
हाँ,
right? And
हाँ,
that is needed,
हाँ.
because unless there is resistance, there can be no growth.
It not be growth. True.
So just don't overthink, and just take one step at a time, and I
हाँ.
think that is what will change your life.
Yes.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's Dr. Tyson for you. I think she has so much to speak about. She has so much to deliver to a lot of lives out there. And I think I barely scratched the surface. She will be back on the podcast, but this was very inspiring for me, very humbling for me to have
Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much. I really
And
enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, Neeraj.
एंड लाइक 3 बार तो आपने चकमा दे दिया है. एंड एंड अब वो भी सोच रहा होगा कि यार इसके पास जाना ही नहीं है हमें. सो आई विश यू, I wish you immense happiness. I wish you
Thank you.
immense
Thank you.
quality of life, and
Thank
a
you so
very very
much.
long life. So इसी तरह हमें हंसाते रहो, इंस्पायर करते रहो, and you know, just don't take life too seriously, and we'll see you in the next one, okay?
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
हमारी बस एक छोटी सी रिक्वेस्ट है. अगर आप लोगों को ये पॉडकास्ट अच्छा लग रहा है ना, और इससे आपकी लाइफ में वैल्यू ऐड हो रही है ना, तो इसको एक बंदे के साथ ज़रूर शेयर करना. इससे हमें पता चलता है कि हम अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, एंड लोगों को उसी काम का बेनिफिट मिलता है. सो थैंक यू.